Hey there, all my poor people. It's Michael Dieterich here. I'm just a poor boy. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back, as the case may be. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. It would really, really help me out. Thank you very much. Now, some of you may have noticed that, like last year, I was doing tons and tons of paintings and on canvas. And this year, I started doing a lot of poured objects, which turned out to be very popular. But also, I started making jewelry, and that's turned out to be insanely popular. So much so that I've been pouring on objects and jewelry, but I'm trying to remember when the last time is I actually made like a painting on canvas, which is coming up soon on my list. So don't you worry about that. But several people have been asking me, well, how do you make your jewelry? And it's through acrylic pouring that I learned how to do this. So today I'm going to take you step by step through my process of making jewelry. So let's jump right into this tutorial on how to make jewelry as an acrylic pourer. Here we go. A lot of people have been asking me about jewelry. And first misconception is I'm not a jewelry smith. I don't work with metal. All I do is I buy my settings online, the Bezels as they're called, which is yeah, you'll see some here. They're metals mostly, sometimes they're wood. You have different kinds. You have them with open backs as well, so you can use resin. I have switched to using Cabochons. Those are these lovely little glass beads. You do have to match them up with your Bezels so that they fit. But using these glass clear Cabochons, I make actually what I call it the jewel. I know it's not officially a jewel, but it puts the jewel in jewelry. And as nice as the settings are, it's the colorful magnified jewel in the middle that really sells those pieces. So how do I make that? So I'm going to show you two ways to make those skins, which is the first part of this process. But now, how do you make the jewelry? And the best way I can describe it is the skins are like the middle part of a sandwich. Imagine you're making a cheese sandwich, yeah? You need a bottom piece of bread, a top piece of bread, and you need something in the middle, like cheese, for example. The skin is the cheese, let's put it that way, yeah? Let's talk about the top and the bottom, because when you combine these three things, you will get your jewelry, yeah? So the bottom piece of bread, let's call it that, that's what a lot of people would call a setting. I don't make the metal part of the jewelry. The metal part of the jewelry, whether it being a ring or a bracelet or a necklace hanger, that piece of metal that has a place specifically to put a jewel or a stone in, as we'll call it for right now, that piece of metal is called a bezel, yeah? And I'm going to show you bezels today because we're going to make a necklace, I'm going to make a bracelet for you, and I'm going to make a pair of earrings just to show you some of the different things that might come into play, yeah? So the bezels are the first thing you need. The top piece of bread, that is actually the glass bead, I would call it, yeah? Now it's called a cabochon, and it's usually flat on the bottom, and then the top, it's raised up maybe 5-7 millimeters. They come in all different sizes. Some of them have a much higher dome than others. And that is the top part. So you have a bezel, a skin, and a cabochon. Now, the way I work is I take the cabochon and I glue it to the skin, and then I cut it out perfect shape and then glue it into the basil. Yeah. Now, if you don't want to use cabochons, there are other people who like to use resin instead. And then the best thing is to cut out the skin to the size that it fits into the basil, and then to pour the resin on top of it. It's a little bit messier, but it does allow you to work with odd shaped basils because you don't need to find matching stones, and larger basils. We're going to be working exclusively with closed basils, and we're going to be working exclusively with cabochons, the beads. Now, if you are going to get started doing jewelry, I recommend that when you go to find your bezels and cabochons, they have a lot of selections in kits where you can get, 10 bezels with 10 cabochons, and that's the best way to do it because then you don't have to find the matching size, and they come in 6 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 25, 30. I, on the other hand, have been doing this for a while now, and I have a huge collection of bezels and cabochons, and I buy them wholesale. I'm going to show you a little bit of my collection. You don't need all of this to make jewelry. You really just need skins, you need bezels and cabochons, basically, and I'll show you how to do that today. Now, there are some tools that you are going to want. I'm going to show you some special glues. We're going to talk about things like UV lights. We're going to talk about needle nose pliers. But let me just show you, I've kind of gathered all my jewelry stuff in one place, and I want to show you, now that I'm making large collections, my jewelry supplies. So when I first started out making jewelry, it was just something fun I wanted to try with some skins that I had from one of my pours. I didn't imagine it was going to grow into a major part of my business. So in the beginning, I just stored everything in some Tupperware containers, but as I started expanding and getting more and more involved, I started buying some small cases with some compartments, and then some bigger cases, and then a very big case, and I ended up with this tower of supplies. Now, it kept everything organized, but in the long run, it was a lot to go through every time. So as pretentious as this looks, I'm going to show you something even worse, because when I originally filmed this video, I took you through each of these cases to show you the supplies, and when I looked at how much material it was just over 20 minutes. So instead, I'm going to try and cut that down for you today as I take you to my tower of jewelry supplies. Alrighty, here it is, the tower of supplies. This is actually a modular unit. It's 9 individual cases that all click into each other, so there is room for expansion. Let me just quickly show you some of the things that are in there. So here in these drawers, I have some of the smaller objects like earrings. I've got round hooks, squares, studs. They're usually in color groupings. These are these teardrops where I actually have to attach the hook to the bezel. I also have cufflinks, silver, gold, bronze, square, round. There's some lovely hair clips. Here are some bezels I was talking earlier. These are odd-shaped bezels that I don't have cabochons for, so I might do some resin pours in the future. These 2.5 centimeter pieces, the trays are 2.5 centimeters, and the cabochons are 2.5 centimeters as well. These are some of the most popular pieces, not too small, not too large. Silver with key rings, some interesting shapes. I've got them separated: gold, bronze, rose gold, silver, antique gold. Here are some bracelets. These are bracelet links, plenty of 2.5 centimeter cabochons. Up here at the top, in the middle, these are my chains. Now you can buy chains bulk, ready to go, but yeah, like this here, these chains are just ready to go. But you can also And these are also like silver, antique silver, dark silver, gold, rose gold. This is gunmetal, copper. You can also buy just these long lengths of chains and add your own hooks to them, yeah? You got black down here. These are clasps for putting leather and suede cables together. This is my drawer. I've got my earring back cards and my necklace back cards, my business cards, and plastic bags. This is for putting them onto supply units. My tool drawer, we'll talk about the tools in a moment. Again, more large bulk. These are some ones, these settings are very popular, so I have large amounts. Also coming up for the holidays, I'm going to prepare a whole set of snowflake jewelry. These are all the individual cabochons, mostly round. Like I said, you've got them in 8, 10, 12, squared, 14, 16, 20, all different sizes. Big ones as well, rectangular, teardrops, all sorts of sizes. I've got some more bezels here, large ovals, squares, small ovals. I've got leather cords, suede cords. That is the tower of jewelry. And like I said, it's modular, so I can add to it. And I need to, because there are already some things that don't fit in the drawers. Isn't this better? 3.5 minutes instead of 20. Alrighty, let's talk about some of the tools that you will or might need. I'll talk about each of them individually. Needle nose pliers. I recommend having at least 2, so you can hold a ring, for example, with the needle nose and then bend with the other. This is only if you're going to be using rings. If you're just making bezel, yeah, all you have to do is glue the cabochon in there and then put it on a chain and you're done, yeah? But as I had said earlier, sometimes you're going to need to add. So like for this one, we're gonna have to put a ring in the top so that it's not tilted on your body. This will also make a great keychain, for example, yeah? X-Acto knife, this is usually when I have like large skins and I wanna do strips, so I probably don't use that as much. The X-Acto knife is a great way to cut your skins up so that you can conserve as much of it as you can, yeah? Here's that B7000 I was talking about and the super glue. I have some toothpicks and some Q-tips and these little serving sticks. These are just so I can move the super glue around, yeah? Sometimes I want to use this to drag a flatter surface, and if I've put into a bezel too much glue, a Q-tip is a great way to absorb that, yeah? I have some tissue and some paper towel, and I have some nail polish remover. If there's any flaws on your bezel or your cabochon, it's good to clean it off. It's also quite easy to do just with these moist household wipes. Now, a lot of people recommend getting a UV light, and I was looking around online, and the jewelry ones, I was like, wow, it's quite expensive, but it's basically the same as this. This is officially a nail dryer, and I just use this, yeah? This will help the skin bond to the cabochon with the B7000. Now you can also leave it to dry for 24 hours, but it'll make it easier to cut. It'll really bind the materials together. So if you're going to be doing a lot, I do recommend getting one of these, but not 100% necessary, yeah? And a pair of scissors as well. So I've got my hobby mat down, but there is something important I forgot, and that is a good source of light. I just use a desk lamp with a nice high wattage. You really want to be able to see what you're doing, so get a good source of light for this. Alrighty, let's see if this new setup works. I wanted to do a kind of like a large piece and then a standard circle. And then this one I'm doing because it's a new bezel. I just ordered these and I just love them, so I was like, I might as well do one of those. Then I want to do a set of earrings to show you how I do that as far as making a matching set so that they belong together. And then I have these bracelets, which I absolutely love, that they have 6 cabochons in them. And then this is more about finding variations in them that you go, oh, they're all part of the same family, but different. So kind of the opposite of this. So just to show you the different ways of doing it. First thing, of course, is to clean them. You could just use some wipes. I actually, for this, like to use nail remover and just a little bit of tissue. This is kind of like getting all the residue off them, and you especially want to focus on the bottom side of the cabochon, because that's going to get the glue on it and it's going to be in contact with the skins, and you don't want there to be any fingerprints or anything like that. I'm not so concerned about the tops because I can always clean them later. I like that a lot. It looks like it might be upside down to me. I always like to imagine what it's going to look like in the jewel. I like it more like this, and if that's the case, then I want more of this point here. There we go. That's nice. Great. So you can see that this cabochon is pretty close to the edge. So I'm conserving as much of the skin as I possibly can. Keeping that in mind, I'm now going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to just trace a line that gives me a little bit of room around it. These domed ones, these are going to be for earrings, and it's really nice if that's a matching pair. Now they'll never be perfectly matching, but I'm looking for like a striped area where you go like right along here. You go, oh, here there's this gold underneath and that orange and then red. The pattern goes all the way across. So what I want to try and do is to take one on there and a second one on there fairly close and go, do they look the same? I'm going to start off with these three. I'm going to put the B7000 on it. Now the thing about it is this glue is a little bit stringy. So as I move from one to the other, sometimes you'll see there's a little bit of string. Not a big deal, but sometimes I'll just take a little stick and like do a little curl just so it doesn't get everywhere onto the glass itself. Yeah. Alrighty, I got a little excited and was checking them, and I already cut one out. You can see it here. So let's take a look at this this big one here. Basically, I just used a regular old pair of scissors. I have a little household wipe ready to clean the blades as I go, because sometimes residue from the paint or the glue will stick on it, and that makes the cutting less smooth. So I look and see where there is the least amount of paint. Now this one, because it was a big oval, it's got seepage all around, but I see here in this top corner a place where there's the least amount of paint. Now I'm going to open up my scissors pretty far, and I'm really just cutting, and I'm pushing the scissors along the glass. So really getting as close as I can. Now I can feel it like squishing, see, as I go, because there's still in this outside edge, there's still some wetness, but that's okay. I just open up my container, keep going. Just keep your scissors turned inwards towards the cabochon, the glass. Now see, there's some gunk on there. I'm just going to clean that off real quick. And keep going. Don't worry about being perfect immediately. Okay. Let's get back in here where we were. And do that last edge. Great. So, throw that away. Now I'm going to check and make sure there's no like large pieces hanging off. There's a little bit there. Not a huge drama, but I want it to get as close as I can. And over here, there's a little residue and gunk. Got it. Clean those scissors off so they're ready to go. And then what I do is I take my finger and I'm just going to kind of squeeze along the edge as I go. So if there's any little stuff sticking out or whatever, I'm just packing it right into the side. And then when you look at the side, the cabochon, the jewel, it should really be, yeah, fairly residue free. I see a little bit of dried glue here on this one. I'm just going to pull that off. Great. Yeah, that looks really good. And that one's done. Let's do the rest. Alrighty, let's look at these final pieces. Here is the large oval. Really nice. Now I'm really excited about these key pieces as well. This looks like a sunrise, fabulous. Here are these Tibetan pieces. Because these bezels are a little bit more complex, I try not to make my cabochons very busy, but this one just works perfectly. Now with these bracelets, look, there you go. Oh, they all belong together, but it's all individual stones, but all the same colors. Love it. And finally, the earrings, love it. Another sunrise piece. They came out great. Alrighty guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a glimpse into how I make my jewelry collections. Again, this isn't the only way to do it. You don't have to use skins. There's a possibility to use opened, backed bezels. You can use resin, you can use colored resin, you can use inks to color that resin. You can put in different things like glitter or floral vegetation. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Get creative. It's a lot of fun. Special thanks to my friend Nani for asking me to make a video showing you how I make my jewelry. It was a great idea. I've got new collections coming soon, including the flame colors that you saw in this video. Also, that lovely purple, pink, and silver will be coming soon. If you're interested in my jewelry, check out my website. That's www.imjustapourboy.nl. Poor, of course, with a P-O-U-R. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I'm Michael Dieterich. I'm Just a Poor Boy. We'll see you next time.